All right, y'all, what's going on? Welcome back to another episode of the Jab Podcast, episode 134. I'm Combo Breaker 99.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Boston P.
We back with another show for y'all. You know, it's been a crazy past few weeks. You know, just a lot going on in the world. You know, boxing. You know, a lot been going on with boxing. You know, boxing's back, but you know, we're going to talk a little bit about all of that today. Just everything that's kind of been going on. But what's been going on with you, P? It's been a minute.
Nothing, man. Just trying to make sense of, all the stuff that's going on, right? Even though you can't make sense of it, but you got to try because I got to live my life. You know what I'm saying? I'm not stuck in the house. I got to go to work every day and be out and about and all the stuff that's going on. So I need to know, what's going on and how to move accordingly because it's some trying times right now.
Yeah, man, it is. It's like we living in a time period of history where we didn't know this something like this would ever hit. You know, so many things going on with protests, and then you got this virus. So it's like we got two things out there that somebody like me and you really got to look out for. Is it the COVID we got to look out for, or is it like the cops? You know what I mean? Is it the police?
Right. And I mean, and we both work in, healthcare, so we kind of mashed in. It's nowhere to go. I'm on the front lines of COVID. I'm on the front lines of driving while black or just being a black man. You know what I'm saying? So I'm on the front lines. Any way you look at it, I mean, like a lot of us are out here, but it's just a lot going on, man, and. I can't just say that, everything's good, man, I'm doing great, because even if nothing has personally happened to me, I'm still affected by what's going on in the world. You know what I'm saying? I'm connected to, my people and just people in general. You know what I mean? Humanity. Because that's the thing about it, and it is about humanity. You know what I'm saying? It's about just people, but, like I say, just try to make the best of it.
Yeah, man. Same here, man. That's why I say, for me personally, like, I don't know where I would be right now if I didn't have a sport like boxing that really taught me the way as far as just kind of being an individual and just trying to understand, like, how to fight back at certain things. You know what I mean? Like, it kind of, for me, just that energy of what I've seen and what I've experienced just kind of is a sport where it helped me translate on how every day is kind of like a fight. And now it's kind of like, this is one of them times you're on the ropes, you've been down a few times, you got to get back up, man.
Yeah. I mean, you definitely in the fight right now, and ain't no doubt about it. You know what I'm saying? So, that's real. That's real.
Yeah. But yeah, man, one of the topics I just kind of wanted to discuss with you, P, like I said, a lot's been going on, even a lot of the fighters. I see a lot of UFC fighters and boxers, they kind of been giving their take on these recent, murders with Breonna Taylor and George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery. Before I do break that down, I just want to say, yeah, this is something, I seen some people giving comments like, oh, just stick to boxing, even like with certain boxing sites when they mention Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua, their thoughts on these situations. They always say, oh, just stick to boxing. Well, to me, it's important for me to see like a champion just kind of speak his mind even out of the ring. What about you, man? When you hear somebody speak their mind like that?
I mean, and you would kind of be an idiot to ignore the elephant in the room right now. This is what's going on in the world. This is not in a state or a city. This is the world right now. So that's what we have. We have, some of these champions and these people who I don't feel like it's enough of them or they're doing enough using their platform to speak out on the inequalities in America.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it's all about. Deontay Wilder, you can check his track record. This is nothing new to him. I'm surprised it took him as long as it did to come up with something, but he was doing this when it wasn't popular to do. You know what I'm saying? So he's definitely one of the guys that I've noticed that uses his platform to, you know, speak on some of the different things we've been seeing since his reign as a champion. You know what I mean? But you know, definitely shout out to AJ for coming out and doing his thing. But, you know, back to like what you were saying, that, you know, people saying stick to boxing, you know, this is our platform to really discuss whatever we really choose to discuss. And it's almost like that statement that lady made to LeBron James, you know, when he tried to make some political statements. You know, that's what's going on in America. You know what I mean? I'm not here to entertain anybody.
Shut up and dribble statement, right?
Yeah, I'm not here to entertain anybody. You know what I'm saying? We're a dime off this. This is because we like to do it. You know what I mean? So, those type of people getting blocked off mines, because if you got a problem with me speaking about something as big as this, you know what I mean? I would feel fake if I didn't speak on it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying the whole show or getting too deep, but I would feel fake if I didn't speak on it, because it's my reality.
Mm-hmm.
My reality. So I'm just saying, you know, if anybody comes to me with those type of sentiments, they getting blocked, man, because those type of people, I don't want that energy. Yeah. I don't want that energy, but I'm glad you brought that up, because I didn't really realize that was going on. But it don't surprise me, of course, but I really wasn't dialed in on, you know, that nonsense particularly.
Yeah, especially with, like, again, you talking Deontay Wilder, like Deontay Wilder, this type of thing has been going on and he's been addressing it. You know, he's addressed everything from the violence in Chicago. So he's always been like a humanitarian. He's always been somebody to let you know something's not right. And how could he not speak on this when he's judged by the color of his skin? Absolutely. His whole career, he's being judged by that. That's how people gauge on where he stands as a champion. Or do they think he's a bully? Or do they think he's a real dude? No, a lot of people lean towards him being a bully because they already judge the color of his skin. And that's the reason why a lot of these guys are out here fighting now, because this is the only sport they can go to. You know what I mean? This is
yeah, definitely. But another thing about Deontay Wilder, I mean, he's from what, Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Tuscaloosa. Yeah, you got it.
I mean, you can't tell this man nothing about no racism, man.
Oh yeah.
You know, he's from Alabama. He probably from one of the most racist states still left out there. So this is again, this is this man's reality.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Along with being the champion of the world, but it's still his reality. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I think it's a little easier for him to speak out because he's still dealing with it. I don't know how much of this AJ really dealing with, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? I mean, no disrespect to AJ, but that's the reality of it.
Yeah,
just the reality of it.
Right, because we spoke on that before. You know, we spoke on that because we was like, you know, AJ came from the UK where everybody seemed to love him. You know what I mean? But now, like, since he's came out and gave his opinion on what's going on, you see how they kind of turn their back on it, right?
Yeah, well, that's how it can be, because, you know, I mean, AJ, his experience been different than Deontay Wilder's, because AJ is a fair-skinned man, which a lot of doors and opportunities were different for him. You know what I'm saying? Now, that's not to say he ain't been harassed, he haven't experienced any of it, but, you know, to beat Deontay Wilder, to come from the deep South and be a dark-skinned, big 6'7" man, he walking in some shoes not a lot of brothers have walked in before, in my opinion. That, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I ain't 6'7", I'm dark, but, you know, I'm a little fella. But you know,
when you see a man of his size, it's still 1932 back down there. You know where I mean? Where you still judge a man on his size, where you feel like we got to break this man, you know, or he's a villain.
Man, if he didn't make it out of there, he might have been hanging from a tree somewhere. Because when they saw him, it was intimidating. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Loud guy, brash guy. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of things that just, I know, that resonate with Deontay Wilder during these times, that he can really, you know, it's not fake. It's not an act. It's not donating to charity. He like, yo, I get it. They did it to me. They do it to me. You know what I'm saying? So, but like you say, it's just good to see anybody using their platform for the right reasons. And, you know, AJ, he considers himself of African American descent. This is the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
This is the right thing to do because your people are hurting, you know. I mean, some of them can be the ones to maybe get some people to look at it another way. You know, I mean, some of these races, they love sports. You know what I'm saying? They love sports. You know what I'm saying? They love sports. So,
hey, what better way to target? You know what I mean? That's when you get them all together, and then you express yourself. Because look, you know, they turned their back on Muhammad Ali, but there came a certain point where they had to say maybe he is right.
They had to come back. Yeah, had to come back. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, but
let me ask you this about Anthony Joshua. You know, shout out to Anthony Joshua too. You know, he was out there in his hometown hobbling on that knee brace. You saw the knee brace, right? I don't know what had happened, but you know, he must have got injured in training. But you know, he just kind of gave a speech on how he felt. Okay, you need to stop the rioting and the looting and start really focusing on who the enemy was. And he just kind of, you know, talked about supporting Black-owned business. And the first thing a lot of his so-called fans did that turned their back on him, they just called him a racist. Like, how you feel about that, man?
I mean, it's silly, but it's like this, Ant. In today's world where everybody has an opinion and everybody wants to be, I mean, you don't want to be equal and you don't want to be fair. You just kind of want to nitpick.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't surprise me. You know what I'm saying? But in my opinion, if Anthony Joshua is claiming to be African American and even some African,
mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
That's his right. That's his duty to support Black business. Not only Black business, but to support Black business without a doubt. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that's all he's saying. But of course, people want to twist and misconstrue this thing because it's a race issue. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a race issue. And like I stated before, the people that turned on him and called him a racist, then they probably not the type of fans he really want. You know what I mean? They wouldn't be the type of fans that I want.
Mm-hmm. Same as like whenever you say, and I say, we see people on our platform around me saying, don't stick to boxing. You block them out, right? That's that's basically what Anthony Joshua could do now. You know, you could definitely say that these people weren't really for me in the beginning.
Exactly, because people should understand where he's coming from when he says support Black business. You know what I mean? And it's coming from a man who then spent $1 million on a white man's company. I'm sure he has millions of dollars on a white man's company. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But it's not. But it's not cool to spend millions on some Black-owned businesses. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It's a crime if you say that. When I didn't say spend it white businesses, I just went and did it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, so like I say, we living in such a crazy time right now where whatever you say, I think you're gonna be criticized. Bottom line, you know what I'm saying?
Right. And like everything I got from his statement, it was just basically saying, see, it's something that they just ain't gonna understand. Like, but everything when he was saying his statement is just saying that, hey, we got to get up. You know what I mean? We got to get to a certain point because, like, hey, every time we see fighters say, oh, I'm doing this for my people, my Mexican people, or I'm doing this for Russia, or I'm doing this for the Ukraine, nobody get mad. They like, okay, they for their homeland. But as soon as AJ say, let's support a few Black businesses, everybody get in the uproar. You know what I mean?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? It's something that's attached to, and that's why you got to ask people, how can you deny it? It's some type of stigma attached to the Black man.
Yeah.
It just is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, Donald Trump wanted to build a wall for the Mexicans, but I don't see them getting shot like and killed and harassed by the police like they doing the Black man.
No.
You know, you want to. I heard people, we want to get rid of them. They taking all the jobs, but they want to kill Black people.
Yeah, they just
want to. I mean, that's just that's all we saying. You know what I mean? You gotta
Yeah.
understand. You know,
Yeah, because like I
miles
said,
out of the story. You know,
yeah, because if you just go back to again, like even in the boxing, like I can be cool with like see Mikey Garcia coming to the ring, Mexican flag, Mexican hat, all the
so
Mexican people cheering for him. I'm like, okay, that's cool. Then when Errol Spence, he come in with the band and he got the rap artist with him. I'm like, oh, that's cool too, Like he represent for one side, he represent for the other, but it's almost like when people see something like that, they like, I can't, I'm not down with that. You know what I mean? They're a little getting too tight, too unified for my comfortability. You know what I mean? It seems like it really irks them in a way. But again, like I said, it's like whenever you see Mexicans say something about their people, it's okay. I just don't understand that.
that's what I'm saying. I mean, it's something about just the word black. I mean, you want to just be on. What else could it be? Anybody else can be proud of who they are and their culture and where they come from, but a black man.
Yeah.
That don't mean that we're not proud and we don't, represent where we come from, but it come with a price, ain't? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It comes with a price. I don't think other people deal with for representing, where they come from.
Mm-hmm.
That's all we saying. I mean, can't say it no clear or put it no other way, man. I mean, people getting murdered on videotape. I mean, how much more proof you need? You know what I'm saying? I mean, so when people can look past that, then people just don't want to see it.
Right. Yeah.
In my
That's
opinion, when you
bottom
look
line.
past that, you just don't want to see it.
Bottom
So,
line, yeah.
so yeah, conversation over.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
And yeah, before we do wrap the topic, I do say, yeah, shout out to like Wilder and Joshua because they know, and like too, as a boxing fan, we know that when they get to a certain point as champions, that it's almost like your opinion is kind of value. They do become role models whether they like it or not. So they have to speak out on it.
I absolutely agree. And when you hold that crown, and I mean, even if you wasn't a brother and you wanted to be the heavyweight champion and you wanted to stand up for, injustices in America, I wouldn't see nothing wrong with that. But if you a brother and people out here down in the streets for you and you don't stand up, I mean, that don't look right, eh? You know what I'm saying? You ask me, you know what I mean?
Nah, man, it don't. But yeah, man. Like I said, shout out to them again. But any other things you wanted to talk about in that topic as far as
no, I ain't, because it can go left real quick. We just wanted to
get you pissed off, man. Get you pissed off.
Yeah, we just wanted to touch bases on
a
little bit of what's going on in the world or whatever. But yeah, I'm good.
All right. So boxing came back this past Tuesday, man. Shoot, Top Rank, they got quite a few lineups scheduled for the month of June. Bob Arum is trying to get his Dana White on. He's got like a lineup, man. I have to look at them dates again, but shout out to Shakur Stevens. He came back with his got like a 6th round stoppage win. He looked pretty good to me. He definitely looked good. He looked like he missed a beat, against the caliber of opponent he was fighting. But his original weight was 160, but he was talking about going all the way up to 130 now. He called out guys like Tank and Leo Santa Cruz, man. What'd you think of his performance, man?
I thought it was a good performance. And I also agree with what he was saying. It's too much talent within 5 or 10 pounds, and you got Shakur Stevenson, you got Devin Haney, you got Tank, you got Lomachenko, you got Gary Russell Jr., you got Leo Santa Cruz. I mean, the list goes on. It's too much talent within a few pounds, because we want to see some names fighting, man. I mean, that was a good fight. It was the first fight back for boxing, but I wanted to look at the UFC and see how they're making fights before these fights fizzle away. You know what I mean? Because fights fizzle away. You know what I mean? That's what I'm hoping that the quarantine did for guys. I've seen a lot of talking on, online and all this stuff. So, all right, if boxing is open back up, I mean, we expect to see some, some names in there mixing it up. You know,
Yeah. Let
you
me ask
know,
you this now. This should be my first question. How did you feel when the first boxing card was going to be announced? Did you feel like feel that? Did you feel that relief? What was that your first reaction, man?
um, I was just happy, Ant. You know what I'm saying? I was happy. I mean, I'm a Shakur Stevenson fan, but we still waiting for him to ante up and really become whoever he's going to be. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it wasn't like, like Dana White. He putting on them big shows. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So,
That's why I asked you that. I wanted your reaction to that because I was going to say when UFC came back, I was a little bit more excited, man. I ain't
yeah.
gonna lie. Like I'm a diehard box fan. Everybody know I'm a diehard box fan, but when UFC came back, I was a little bit more excited, man.
Yeah.
And it all came down to the matchups, like you said.
And how crazy is that? Because we didn't plan to talk about none of this. You didn't know I was going to say that. I didn't know you was going to say that. But like you say, we both diehard boxing fans, but we both kind of saying the same thing, or came to that same conclusion without talking to each other that, I'm still a diehard boxing fan, but they gotta, if they want to do something that the UFC is doing, is then start putting on these big fights. And the reason I say that ain't because Earl Spence and Terence Crawford, that fight is not the same. Steam is not the way it was. Still, people still want to see it, but it's not the same. The AJ and Deontay Wilder, that's not the same.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, that's how quick it can turn over. You know what I'm saying? I mean, had they fought when we wanted them to fight, I think the time was right. It would have been it was good timing in my opinion. Now, the game is just turned upside down. They didn't kind of trying to overstep Deontay Wilder. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's just like, yo, you should have just took. You could have been undisputed.
Yeah. They should have just settled for whatever, and then after that, and it ain't even like settle because whatever the amount is still more than any other boxer ever got. Even in the past. So it was just like if you would have went back there, went for broke, the doors would have really opened.
And look, think how crazy it is. I mean, they turning down money, and the top UFC fighters is trying to get boxing money, and they getting turned down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Boxers said it's not enough, and UFC fighters saying, "Yo, I just want one of them paid it." You know what I mean?
Yeah, they want a little something, and now you bring that up too. Like Joe Rogan was saying, like the fighters are kind of settling for like little amounts now because it's almost like a set rate they've been getting because no live gate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
which is real.
I definitely
get it. I mean, a few boxers like Terence Crawford said that he wanted to sit out until the crowd came back because that's part of his money. You know what I mean? Yeah. So not having a live gate, that's a big hit, eh? You got to think. I mean, no merchandise, no beverages, no food, it's a lot of stuff that gets sold. With the live gate, shirts on top of them paying, buying tickets. So that's a big chunk of money that's gone. That I do got to kind of give Dana credit, I guess, because he's still, he's spending money. He's on Fight Island, the COVID testing, he's spending money. So I don't know, man.
But what about this too, man? Like, going back to the return of boxing, like I said, we were glad it came back, but I don't think that a lot of boxing fans were like pleased, like again, the UFC was. Do you think they could have put on a better quality of fight? You know what I mean? Like, it's still possible to make a big return with a solid matchup, right? Because why does the UFC keep doing that? Why does the UFC keep showing that up? Like Teron Woodley, he's been out for over a year, but you're gonna fight a dangerous threat like Burns. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, one thing did seem a little different to me, and let me know what you think. I'm not really hearing boxers eager to come back. You were hearing UFC fighters eager to come back.
Yes.
Maybe it's those smaller paydays with the UFC fighters saying, "Yo, I gotta eat." You know that
Yeah.
money from the last fight is gone.
Mm-hmm.
But you weren't really hearing about it. Like I said, Terrence Crawford just said, "Yo, I'm just sit out for a
Yeah.
minute because
Yeah.
you know." So I don't know. Maybe it is the money difference, and you know what you think.
I think it might just be that, man, because I'm hearing even a lot of the women I follow, they want to get right back in there. I even asked some like, aren't you worried about the COVID? They'd be like, shit, we training. We still training. We gotta fight. We gotta eat, But when you look at boxers, like everybody been chilling. You look at the Charlos, they were doing
Big,
big, they do looking heavier, and he out there doing his little web blog on his channel.
yeah,
So I think a lot of the boxers they got that big amount, but they also got like other side hustles too. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Which
I mean,
which could be dangerous too, as far as keeping that killer
absolutely.
instinct.
Absolutely, but it depends on what type of boxer you got today. Like we said, and we do have the guys who are chasing greatness. Then we got the guys who chasing paydays. Danny Garcia said, "Yo, I'm just getting paid right now. I'm not mad at him." You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So we gotta really see where these guys' heart is at. And I mean, some of these guys are not in there to take the toughest fights to test themselves or for legacy in today's boxing world.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah. If you look at Danny Garcia, his Instagram versus some of these UFC fighters' Instagram, big difference.
Big difference.
I'm just
Big
laughing
difference.
at some of the recent posts, man. Like Danny be like living the rap video life, and that's off of just like a few fights where, again, like you said, like the UFC fighters, they're probably constantly having to ask for fights just for these smaller amounts, So
Yeah. Because Danny definitely be chilling. Shout out to Danny Garcia. He definitely be doing this thing or whatever. But like I say, the amount of money has made people have those two paths, and
mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? Like UFC is so dangerous that, in my opinion, you got to fight for legacy. That's not somewhere you go to get a check because you can get killed in the fight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's not somewhere you just go get a paycheck. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-mm. As far as like just going in there and fighting tomato cans, few tomato cans and retire, no, you can't ever find no tomato can.
Yeah, you ain't gonna make no money. You know what I'm saying? You got to take the dangerous fights.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not necessarily enough money on the line. Whereas boxing, you can fight a tomato can and get some money in boxing. If you got a name, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's crazy. But it's definitely that aspect though. And Dana White said, "Yo, all sports have been gone. I gotta come back with a banger." He could have tried to milk it, said, "Yo, ain't nobody doing that, and I'm gonna just give him anything. They'll watch anything." He said,
Mm-hmm.
"No, I'm gonna give him bangers." And I gotta give him that. He been dishing out some bangers.
Yeah, because just about every card he's put out over these past few weeks, plus coming this weekend, there's some matchup on there you want to see. People want to see Sugar O'Malley return. They want to see Teron Willie the other weekend return.
Yeah.
They wanted to see somebody on these cards. There's at least 3 or 4 fights people want to see, and the matchups are always on point.
That my bad, Aunt, but that Fight Island card is stacked too. You know what I mean? So he going to debut the Fight Island, and then he got the Usman and Gilbert and Holloway and what's his name, Volkanovski, but it's stacked. So he just keeping it coming.
And for y'all out there listening to, and P, you knew too, right? Fight Island is in Abu Dhabi, right?
Yeah. That's what I said. Yeah, I didn't expect that, but because that seemed far.
I know it's gonna be out there. Yeah. That's that one in July 11th, I think, right?
I'm not sure what date it is, but it's definitely stacked, man. The card definitely stacked. So I'm just saying. I mean, Dana showing out right now, out there. So we had Shakur Stevenson, which was a good fight, but I mean, the guy he fought, I wasn't really familiar with him.
What about this though? Like, both are tough fighters, you know, both do their things in both sports, you know, boxers and MMA fighters. But so coming back to the ring against a legit competition ain't really should be like an excuse though, right? You know what I mean? Because like, how come the UFC fighters, it seems like they're always training and staying fresh for the next big thing?
Yeah, I mean, to me, once you on this level, it shouldn't be no. I mean, like you got to commend Earl Spence for saying, "Yo, I don't want this, that, and the third. I want the big names." He
No
could
tune-ups,
be
yeah.
chasing a check, but this is dangerous. These some dangerous checks he chasing. You
Mm-hmm.
feel me? So I do got to give him that where he's saying, "Yo, I want to come back with a banger."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Which makes sense to me. Like, I feel like every fighter should do that because in their off time, it should be on them to say, hey, man, like, we need to be staying on weight and we need to be training. You know what I mean? Like, just because there's this COVID going on don't mean that you can put your career on pause. And by career, I mean your body.
Mm-hmm.
And I think him, yeah, Errol, he been close to fight weight these past few weeks. You know, he's been saying he's been running and cutting back on a lot of food he used to eat. So he's been staying on it.
He definitely talking the talking. You know what I'm saying? So I'd be curious to see what's going to happen with him. You know what I mean? Any fight that they said wasn't a bad fight. I mean, the Ugas, Danny, Manny, Terrence. You know, I mean, any of those fights, I would take. You know what I'm saying? Well, we'll see what happens. You know, because boxing is different too, and you know, I don't know if they're going to try to start squeezing stuff out again and milk. You know what I mean? Who knows what they're going to do? You know.
See, we know if this was the UFC, two out of three of those fights would be happening next month. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. You know, I mean, you got to be curious to think how long can Dana keep up this pace because he doing it like on a weekly basis. You know what I'm saying? Bang out fights. So I'm just saying, man, he giving the people what they want. You know, whether or not the fans think it's time for the world to open up and move forward, they're going to watch them fights when Dana put them on. You know what I'm saying? Regardless how they feel about COVID-19. You ain't going to say, oh, no, I ain't watching that because Dana White, he's spreading COVID. You're not going to say that. You're going to be watching. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So.
But, speaking of that COVID too, man, like boxing came back, but you saw a couple fighters. What's her name? Michaela Mayer. She was Olympic teammate with Clarissa Shields. And there was another fighter named Chris Zavala. They both tested positive for COVID. So I think until this whole thing really blows over, which I don't, there's going to be times now where we kind of have to factor that in too, huh?
Yeah, I mean, well, absolutely. But personally at the hospital, went two people that I personally know have it. You know, another girl just came back from off our quarantine, and then they had like 6 nurses on the floor. You know, me and Aunt, we work in healthcare, and this is just some of the dangers of working in healthcare right now during this COVID-19 pandemic. It's all around us. But, you know, it went from me not knowing anybody who had it to knowing a few people who had it. So it's still alive and well for the people that might think it's gone or it's over or whatever. I mean, whatever it is, people still getting sick. I don't know what it is. I ain't no scientist. You know, people think it's all that. People still getting sick. Let me just say that.
Yeah,
whatever is causing it, I don't know, but people still getting sick.
Yeah, because like even the Michaela Mayer, she did an interview and she said, you know, she was what you call asymptomatic. She didn't even know she had the symptoms. But you know, she tested positive one place, it said negative. When she tested another one, it said it was positive.
That's so you can't even go by the test no more. And that's what my homeboy is going through. He said he feels great. But the scary thing about that is everybody not gonna have the self-control to say, yo, I feel great, but I still got a quarantine. Some people in their mind, I feel great, I'm going out. I ain't nothing wrong. You know what I mean? So when that's where it could get complicated at. You know what I'm saying? For the asymptomatic people. Right. You feel good, you wanna, you know what I mean? You know, you up, you wanna do stuff. You know, it's different.
Because that's how she was looking. She was upset that you couldn't fight, but at the same time, she was just like, you know, I feel good. It was almost like she wanted to step out right then. You know, it's just like, what what other precautions can you take when you feel good, but they keep saying you positive? You know, how do you get rid of it?
Uh, um, that's the thing, man. That's the thing. And I mean, for people that's probably healthy people, it might not be that much of a concern. But like for anybody that got any issues, then it is a concern. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we want to get the stuff gone. If we keep just recycling and reinfecting people, and you know what I'm saying? Because I think that's what's going on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, people they going to gatherings. I mean, the protesting alone is going to make things spike. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? But I don't know, man. I really don't, man. It's so much to think about, you know, and just going on in the world today, man. Make your head, give me a headache
I
after a
know,
while.
man. Like even like the procedures now, as far as exchange, you know, fights during one fight's over, you know, when you go to the next fight on ESPN, they were saying how they got to like disinfect the ring now. They got to wipe everything down between fights. Shakur Stevenson, them, they had like these bio waste gloves now.
Yeah,
Like if they wipe the gloves down, and after the fight, they got to throw the gloves and the hand wraps out now. You know, people
yeah.
they used to auction that stuff off before autograph it, sell it.
It's a game changer.
Yes,
It's
it's
a
a game changer.
every every aspect. Man. It's a game changer. You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy how something could turn the world upside down the way that COVID-19 did.
Yeah, but yeah, man, that might be something else we need to talk about one day too, man. Just kind of go in on the boxing versus the MMA, man. Just as far as like the matchups now, you know what I mean? Like, because I know we even as diehard fans, we got to call it like it is, man. You know, like when it's something that ain't satisfying us, but we see somebody else doing better over there, it's just like, man, like boxing need to step the game up sometime, you know?
Yeah, because I mean, at the end of the day, people want to be entertained. And fight fans, combat sports fight fans, we want to see good fights. That's just
Yeah,
simple as that. It
simple as
ain't
that, man.
too much with that. Dana, it's not like he is a genius for thinking of doing that. You know, it makes sense. Yo, put together solid cards. If people want to fight, they're gonna keep coming. They're gonna want to see it.
Yeah,
You know,
right,
right,
right.
right.
Stay
Be
consistent, man.
consistent, man. Yeah.
But one more thing too, man. I know we were running a little tight on time, but before we wrap it up, what you posted on Instagram, Manny Pacquiao versus Gennady Golovkin. You know, that was a fight that was kind of being talked about. You know, Manny's also in discussions to fight Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence, but you know, his road could go either way right now. So he's in talks to fight Golovkin, which would, you know, break another record for Manny. He become what, champion in 9 divisions. So you know, so
And the thing about that shit right there, that's like I can't even really wrap my head around that fight. That's what I really posted it because I can't imagine that. I can't imagine that. It's not nothing I'm looking forward to seeing. If it happens, it happens. But you know, it's some fighters in your mind that you just never matched up together. And I'm a fan of both of those guys, but I've never in my wildest dreams imagine those two together. But just to think where how big Manny would have to get to be safe, it just really don't really make sense to me. But they said it's something he wanted to do. I mean, I don't know.
yeah, because even when he fought Margarito at 154, he barely touched 150. 150, they said.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. And Golovkin is a solid 160. He's not a blown up junior middleweight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's a middleweight. So it was just an intriguing in that way to me. And hopefully something like that don't really come to fruition. But I mean, I guess if people start calling for, I just don't see it, Ant. Manny's show, I just don't see it. I just don't see it, Ant. You know what I mean?
I don't either, man. Like to me, it's kind of like a yes and no thing because yes, if Manny wants to go that route and call it a day after, fine. You know, at least that would kind of cancel him out of the welterweight tournament with Spence, Crawford, and all them. You get closer to that Spence fight. But the no is, man, it's just dangerous. I mean, Golovkin, he's missing a step now, but that's against the solid middleweights. But when
Yeah.
you start to mess around and think, okay, Golovkin fell off, but you're a small guy and you move up and you never face the hard hitting jab like Golovkin, it's like, okay, everything's out the door, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. It just was crazy. I had to go and really see if it was any validity to it, and it seemed like it's a little bit of smoke there, or whatever. But I mean, if he did it, it would be something to marvel at, and I ain't gonna lie. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? If he could do something like that and pull it off and not get critically hurt, you know what I'm saying? But because I do like those fights too, man. But it's interesting to see a fight that don't really make sense, Ant. You know what I mean? The Mikey Garcia and Earl Spence fight, it didn't really make sense, but it still was compelling to see what could happen, what might happen. You know what I mean? So, sometimes I'm a fan of those fights too. They don't make sense on paper, the rankings and stuff, but hey, it could be interesting seeing those two mix it up.
Almost like Roberto Duran and Iran Barkley.
Exactly.
Something like that. People counting him out, but what he did to Iran Barkley is crazy. That's why I say, like, it could be compelling in that way, but there's a lot of people saying Golovkin needs to be ashamed of himself if he takes the fight. But there's two ways for him too. Like, I think he should be when he could get a third fight with Canelo or fight Charlo or somebody like that. But if he's going to retire and he's going to do the same thing that Manny would probably do, retire, and he just wants a big payday, then he can have it. I mean, if that's what he wants to do in his career on that.
I would really be curious to see what he's saying. Man, I don't think he said Floyd was too small for him. Manny is smaller than Floyd. I don't see where they can meet in the middle where that will be feasible. What is Golovkin? Golovkin's coming down to 154. I mean,
that would be the only way to do it.
Wait, but Manny probably can't make 154. He's never been 154. That's what I'm saying. I just don't see how scientifically it can happen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, in my opinion, but I definitely don't think it was nothing that Gennady was gunning for. I think it was maybe something Manny saw like, yo, Floyd didn't want to do it. I don't want to do the welterweight thing. I want to go out and really solidify myself. You know what I'm saying?
Record, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it was nothing to Gennady probably laughed when he heard it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's just not something that we thought about or whatever. But we'll see what happens. And we out here, we bored, we desperate now. So the mind is wandering and really open to anything at this point.
Yeah, yeah. People start making matchups because they like, yo, get somebody in there. Get somebody with some pop on their side, somebody that's a real champion.
And the point is, and we want to see a bang. Boxing came back Tuesday, but it wasn't a bang.
No. We
want to see a bang. So if Manny say y'all want to fight Triple G, damn it, that's going to be a bang. People kind of with that. If that's what we're going to see when boxing come back, okay, I'll be turned in. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we can't just keep getting thrown scraps and be happy with it.
Because just about like I said, every fight on the UFC card has some type of validity. Everybody's kind of like, I want to see that fight. Somebody got some history up there. Even if it ain't the main event or the co-main event, people are going to want to watch that fight because, somebody like Michael Johnson or somebody like Cowboy, they're going to bring it,
Exactly.
But I'm just glad it's back. But like I said, I wasn't like booming with excitement when I heard the announcement of the card. And like I said, they got several cards coming up this weekend or this month, the month of June. Like they got one June 11th, the 16th, 18th, the 20th, and the 23rd. And none of them are really like big fights, None of them are really like major fights for us, So, I'm just glad we got them the UFC coming through.
Yeah. Right now, I mean, it is what it is, and
Yeah. But yeah, man, like I said, I know you're a little tight on time. Was there anything else you wanted to drop in on topic real quick? Anything you wanted to fill us in on?
No, not really, man. Just like we say, man, we just looking forward to seeing more boxing, of course. But we really want to put the emphasis on putting some solid fights and some solid cards together. The talent is there. There's no reason to, not put these fights together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Next time I see Shakur Stevenson, I mean, I want to see him in there with somebody, ain't? You know what I mean? It's no disrespect to him, but I mean, the boy is oozing with talent. Let's see what the talent is about.
Yeah.
Let's match him against another guy who's oozing talent and see what happens. I get it, it's business, but at some point we gotta, Dana White taking a loss. It's still a business. He taking some losses, but he's still pushing forward for when everything come back. He'll be ahead of the game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it definitely will, because even if people aren't able to be, at the actual fights, once this is over and the live gates can open back up, people are gonna say, "Man, this guy was putting on fights." Even new fans, they're gonna start saying, "Did you see them cards? I want to experience that."
He's gonna be on fire already. You know what I mean? Tickets are gonna be sold out. Where boxing might have to build their crowd up. You know what I'm saying? Rebuild their crowd back up. You feel me?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I would say this before we bounce too, man. I hate to crush some casual fans' dreams, man, but other day I had somebody asking me about Mike Tyson as far as what him returning to the ring at this age. I just had to be real. I said, look, he looked good in training, man, but they were saying he would knock out Wilder and Anthony Joshua. I was like, look, man, this is a different story, man. He's just really training for maybe an exhibition fight and just for the motivation for his body. But let's be real, man. Mike is not going to beat anybody in the top 30 right now. I just told him honestly, I was like, Mike's body is one thing, but his actual ability to absorb a punch like he used to, that's gone.
And even the stamina. And I was actually having this conversation with somebody the other day too. I mean, it wasn't that deep, and it wasn't to bash Mike, but I give Mike Tyson maybe a good 2 or 3 rounds, and I mean, he got the stamina. He's 53 years old. The move around for 3 minutes, taking punches, slipping punches, throwing punches, people don't understand. Fighting a young guy. You in there with a guy who's his energy levels is up. He's moving around. I don't see him going past 2 rounds. He can Hail Mary and catch somebody and knock him out, but those chances are slim. You know what I mean?
Because even you're talking about a guy might be like ranked 28, 29. He ain't even got to be the best. He's just young. It's just his natural energy level. And he's big. It's going to be a naturally big guy that all it takes, not even the perfect punch, it just has to connect on a 53-year-old head, and that'll show you how he would react right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. But no disrespect to Mike.
No.
By no means. He looked awesome for 53. He will whip most 53-year-old men ass and some younger men ass out here. You know what I mean? Without a doubt. But we just talking about boxing on the highest level.
Mm-hmm.
He was there when he was younger and in his prime. But, I mean, those days have come and gone. Now, real quick, Andy, because I thought it was interesting, but I heard Tyson Fury's dad talking about he wish it was like a league for older fighters, because some of the older men, I mean, I guess they hit a spell where they want to get back in there or they want to resume doing it, but that's the only thing that I could see Mike doing is fighting other older fighters. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can respect that, because I mean, if that's what they want to go out doing and that's what they still remember and that's all they feel like they got, then hey, I'll be like, hey, they need to make something like that, Yeah.
But, it'd be safe. It would be safer for them too, man.
Yeah. And I'll say this too. Look, the thing about Mike too, like I said, no disrespect, but it's like, I'm not saying it's impossible for any old man to compete on a high level, because look at Hopkins, But the thing is, Hopkins' style was different and he was in a lower weight class,
Yeah.
You got to remember, Mike was in with the big bad boys because he was a heavyweight. So when they see Hopkins, remember that's different.
Absolutely.
But yeah, man, I'm gonna let you get up out of here. I know you got some things to do. Closing thoughts, P.
Yeah, once again, man, just like I say, it was a lot of talk over the quarantine on social media, Twitter, Instagram, all this stuff. So I mean, boxing is open now, so we want to see, you know, if the energy is the same.
Yeah.
You know, that's it for me, Ant. You know, I've been away from boxing, and now it's back. I want to see some fights that make me remind me why I love the sport.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, same here, man. I'm glad it's back, but like I said, from here, after looking at the UFC, I ain't expecting nothing less than the best. Okay.
They better be careful, Ant. The UFC might steal you from boxing, man.
They might, man. They might, because I've been looking at these fights, man. I've been excited, bro.
Yeah.
And also, man, yeah, everybody else out there, be careful, again, like I said, rest in peace to George Floyd, and Ahmaud Arbery, and Breonna Taylor. Hopefully, don't we have to lose any more people like that in these kind of, sick fashions, man, sick situations like that, man.
Definitely.
And P, where can we follow you at, man?
Y'all can catch me on IG at p.barnhill, and you can catch me on IG at Loud Pack Boxing.
All right, and it's gonna be on video too, so I'll post it on at the bottom there. You can follow me on Combo Breaker 99 on Instagram, All Boxing Everything on Instagram, and you can follow us both on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at the Jab Effect. And subscribe to the show. We got some new people listening too, P, man. I've been hearing some new people coming through. Subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play, and SoundCloud. So that's always a good thing, man.
Well, look, let me let y'all know. Ant set me up last week. He didn't tell me he was recording, and
your mic's breaking up. We out.
Yeah, be looking real crazy out there. So it's all good now. I know I'm prepared now. But yeah, man, that's it.
All right, y'all. And once again, I'm Combo Breaker 99.
It's your boy Boxing P.
We'll be out, y'all. Later.
Later.